What if everything you believed about kindness was wrong? Have you ever wondered how one small action could change a life forever? Imagine a moment so simple yet so powerful, it rewrites someone's destiny. You won't believe how this ordinary man's secret kindness created a miracle. This one decision could change everything. Don't miss out on the lesson. What happens next will make you rethink the way you see the world. Have you ever felt invisible? Like your efforts didn't matter? This story is for you. A single act of kindness in the darkest moment. It's enough to make you tear up. This story will touch your heart and stay with you long after you hear it. It started with a rainy evening and a shivering boy, but no one could predict the ending. Why did this factory worker stop when everyone else walked by? Something extraordinary was about to unfold, and it all began with a glance. We've all been there, feeling powerless in the face of life's struggles. But Imran did something unexpected. This could happen to anyone, but what Imran did makes him unforgettable. Have you ever wondered what you'd do if you had a chance to change someone's life? Kindness doesn't always lead to good things, except when it does something like this. This story proves that the smallest gestures can create miracles, and no one talks about it. They called him foolish for caring, but what happened next left them speechless. Kindness is a language everyone understands, but few truly practice. Every one of us holds the power to change lives. We just need to act. What Imran did is a reminder of what we all can be: human. He thought it was just another day, until he met the boy who changed his life forever. No one saw it coming, not even Imran. This story doesn't end how you think it will. Trust me. To most, he was just a factory worker. To one boy, he was a miracle. How does an ordinary man do something extraordinary without even realizing it? The most remarkable stories often come from the most unremarkable people. What would you do if you saw a shivering boy all alone in the rain? If you had the chance to change someone's life, would you take it? Would you sacrifice your comfort to help someone else? We're wired for connection, but sometimes it takes one person to remind us. Kindness isn't just a choice. It's what makes us human. Every act of compassion creates a ripple. This one created a wave. Did you know a single moment of kindness can create a measurable impact on someone's life? Studies show kindness is contagious. This story is proof. The brain rewards acts of kindness with happiness. Imagine what happens when it saves a life. 13. Evoking visual imagery. Picture this: a rainy evening, a lonely boy, and a man who couldn't walk away. The factory gates were closing, and everyone rushed past, except one man. Imagine standing in the rain, cold and scared, until a stranger changes everything. This story starts in the most ordinary way, but it ends in a miracle no one could predict. You'd never believe how a simple factory worker became someone's hero. What Imran did wasn't just unexpected, it was unforgettable. This story is based on real events that will restore your faith in humanity. Psychologists say acts of kindness release oxytocin. This story is a perfect example. True compassion has the power to create miracles. Here's living proof. Imran's life was nothing extraordinary. Each day began and ended in the factory, where he worked tirelessly to make ends meet. His routine was mechanical: wake up before dawn, walk the same dusty road, and spend hours surrounded by the deafening hum of machines. The weight of responsibility bore down on him, and though he never complained, he often wondered if this was all life had to offer. But one particular evening, as he stepped out of the factory gates, something unusual happened. The sky had turned a sullen gray, and a cold rain had begun to fall. Workers hurried past, eager to escape the downpour. The streets were slick, the air heavy with the smell of wet earth and oil. Imran adjusted his worn-out scarf and prepared to make the long walk home. That's when he saw him. A boy, no older than 8, sitting huddled under a broken streetlight. His clothes were soaked through, clinging to his frail frame. His bare feet rested in a puddle, trembling against the icy water. The boy's eyes, wide and terrified, darted around, searching for something or someone. Imran stopped in his tracks. For a moment he considered walking past like everyone else. He didn't know this child, and surely someone else would step in. But then a thought struck him. What if no one does? The boy's condition stirred something deep within Imran. Memories of his own difficult childhood came rushing back. Nights when he, too, had shivered in the cold, wishing for someone to notice, someone to care. He took a step forward, then hesitated. What could he possibly do? His own resources were limited, and he had enough worries of his own. But as he stood there, torn between action and inaction, a faint voice inside him whispered, "If not you, then who?" Summoning his courage, Imran approached the boy. "Seta, why are you sitting here?" he asked gently. The boy looked up, his lips quivering. "This is not my home, and I am feeling very cold," he replied, his voice barely audible. Imran's heart sank. He could see the desperation in the boy's eyes, a desperation he recognized all too well. Without a second thought, he took off his scarf and wrapped it around the child. The boy looked at him in surprise, his small hands clutching the warm fabric. But Imran knew this wasn't enough. The boy needed food, shelter, and comfort, things Imran wasn't sure he could provide. Doubts swirled in his mind. What if this makes no difference? What if I'm only delaying his suffering? Yet, despite his fears, he couldn't bring himself to walk away. "Chalo mir sath," he said finally, holding out his hand. The boy hesitated before taking it, his fingers ice cold against Imran's calloused palm. Together, they walked through the rain, Imran's mind racing with questions. Who was this boy? Where was his family? And what would he do now? As they reached the small tea stall Imran often visited, he bought the boy a steaming cup of chai and a plate of parathas. The boy ate ravenously, his small hands trembling as he held the cup. Imran watched in silence, his emotions a mix of guilt, sorrow, and determination. The other customers at the stall stared, their expressions a mix of curiosity and indifference. One man leaned over and whispered, "तुम्हें इसमें क्यों पढ़ना है? ऐसे बच्चे हर जगह मिलते हैं." Imran looked at him and simply said, "अगर हर कोई ये सोचेगा तो इनका क्या होगा?" That moment marked the beginning of something Imran couldn't yet comprehend. He had no idea how this small act of kindness would ripple outward, altering not just the boy's life, but his own. As the days turned into weeks, the bond between Imran and Zain deepened. Imran took it upon himself to care for Zain, providing not just shelter, but a sense of belonging. He helped the boy with daily tasks, from washing clothes to cooking meals, and shared stories from his own childhood to inspire hope. Zain, in turn, filled Imran's life with laughter and energy, slowly dissolving the loneliness that had become part of Imran's routine. However, life was not without its challenges. Imran struggled to balance his work hours at the factory with his new responsibilities as a guardian. Each day he left Zain in the safety of their small apartment while he worked, his heart heavy with worry. Would the boy feel abandoned? Would he slip back into the loneliness he had experienced before? One evening, after a long day at work, Imran returned home to find Zain sitting on the couch, his face buried in his hands. Panic surged through Imran as he rushed to his side. "What's wrong, Zain?" he asked, kneeling beside him. Zain looked up, his eyes glistening with tears. "I want to go home," he whispered. Imran's heart sank. He understood the pain behind those words. Zain was grappling with the weight of his decisions, torn between the safety of Imran's home and the longing for his family. "Zain, you don't have to decide right now," Imran said gently, brushing a tear from the boy's cheek. "You can stay here as long as you need. We'll figure things out together." Yet that night marked a turning point for Imran. He realized he couldn't simply provide a safe haven without addressing the deeper issues Zayn faced. They needed to confront Zayn's family situation. The very next day, Imran made a plan to visit Zayn's home. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but he felt a responsibility to help Zayn reconnect with his family and heal those wounds. When they arrived at Zayn's neighborhood, a wave of anxiety washed over Imran. The streets were crowded, filled with familiar faces from his past, yet everything felt different now. Zayn's old home loomed in front of them, a small, dilapidated structure that had seen better days. Taking a deep breath, Imran knocked on the door. It creaked open, revealing Zayn's mother, who looked worn and weary. Her eyes widened in surprise at the sight of Imran and her son. "Zayn, you came back?" she gasped, her voice thick with emotion. "Ma, I was not supposed to live here. I was only remembering you," Zayn admitted, stepping forward. The tears that streamed down his mother's face spoke volumes of the pain and worry they had shared since his departure. Imran stood back, observing the reunion. This was a pivotal moment for Zayn, a chance to heal the rift that had formed between him and his family. Yet it also posed a challenge. Would Zayn feel safe returning home? Would the issues that drove him away resurface? As Zayn embraced his mother, Imran felt a sense of relief, but it was short-lived. He could sense an underlying tension in the air. Zayn's father soon appeared, his demeanor cold and distant. It was evident that things had not improved in his absence. "Why did you come back, boy?" Zayn's father asked, his voice harsh. "You know we can't afford to take care of you properly." Zayn flinched at the words, his newfound hope wavering. Imran stepped forward, determined to stand up for Zayn. "Mr. Khan, Zayn needs support. He's been through a lot. If you could just give him a chance to talk, maybe you can understand what he's feeling." The father glared at Imran, but the love for his son was evident in his eyes. "He made his choice," he said bluntly. "He ran away like a coward." Those words struck Imran like a blow. He could see the hurt they inflicted on Zayn, but rather than retreat, Imran pressed on. Running away was not a choice made lightly. Zayn felt alone. He needs you, not just as a father, but as someone who can listen and understand. A tense silence followed, thick with unspoken emotions. Zayn's mother interjected softly, "Please, just hear him out. He's been through so much." After a moment of hesitation, Zayn's father finally relented, allowing them to sit down and talk. Imran facilitated the conversation, encouraging Zayn to express his feelings and fears. Zayn spoke about his sense of neglect, about feeling invisible in his own home. His mother listened intently, her heart breaking as she realized the depth of her son's pain. Imran watched as the atmosphere slowly shifted. Zayn's father, despite his initial resistance, began to soften. The walls he had built around his emotions started to crumble. "I didn't realize how much you were hurting, Zayn," he admitted. "I'm sorry. I should have been there for you." Zayn's eyes widened in surprise. "You mean it?" he asked, hope flickering in his heart. "Yes," his father replied, his voice now filled with emotion. "I'm not perfect, but I want to try. I want you back home." Tears streamed down Zayn's face as he felt the warmth of reconciliation. Imran, witnessing this moment, felt a surge of hope. He had played a part in bridging the gap, but he knew the journey was far from over. As they left the house, Zayn's spirits were lifted. "Imran, thank you. I didn't think my father would understand," he said, his voice full of gratitude. Imran smiled, but inside, he felt the weight of uncertainty. Would Zayn's father truly change, or was this just a temporary resolution? Back in their apartment, Imran found himself contemplating the future. He was glad Zayn had taken this step, but he couldn't shake the feeling that the journey would still have its challenges. The road to healing was often filled with setbacks. and Imran knew they needed to be prepared. In the days that followed, Zayn returned to school, and Imran continued to work at the factory. They both settled into a new routine, but the challenges of life were never far behind. Zayn struggled to adjust, facing whispers from classmates about his time away from home. Each day was a battle for him to regain his confidence. Imran did his best to support him, attending school events and encouraging Zayn to talk about his experiences. He often reminded Zayn that it was okay to feel vulnerable, to seek help when needed. Yet, there were days when Zayn retreated into silence, the shadows of his past creeping back in. One afternoon, Imran found Zayn sitting on the couch, staring blankly at the wall. "What's wrong?" he asked, concern etched on his face. "I don't belong at school," Zayn confessed, his voice barely a whisper. "Everyone knows I ran away, and now they treat me differently." Imran sat beside him, understanding the weight of those words. "You're not alone in this. Remember, it's not about where you've been, but where you're going." Slowly, Zayn began to open up about his feelings. Imran encouraged him to speak to his teachers, to share his story. Together, they crafted a plan for Zayn to share his experience in a school assembly, turning his pain into a source of strength. The day of the assembly arrived, and Zayn stood nervously at the podium, the audience buzzing with curiosity. Imran watched from the crowd, pride swelling in his chest. Zayn took a deep breath and began to speak, sharing his journey, his struggles, and the importance of kindness. As he spoke, Imran could see the transformation taking place. Zayn was no longer the frightened boy who had run away. He was a resilient young man, ready to reclaim his life. The audience was captivated, and Imran could feel the shift in the room, the compassion and understanding blooming among his peers. By the end of his speech, the applause was thunderous. Zayn's classmates rushed to congratulate him, offering their support. In that moment, Imran felt an overwhelming sense of joy. Zayn had found his voice, and with it, the courage to face the world. Yet as they celebrated this victory, the reality of their circumstances loomed. Imran knew that the challenges were far from over. They still had to navigate Zayn's relationship with his father, the lingering shadows of his past, and the uncertainty of the future. But for now, they had each other, and together they were stronger than ever. Their journey was just beginning, and Imran was determined to guide Zayn through whatever came next. The turning point came unexpectedly one evening as Imran and Zayn were preparing dinner together. The atmosphere was warm and filled with laughter when the door swung open. Zayn's father walked in, his face etched with worry. He had just come from a meeting at work where he had been laid off due to budget cuts. "Zayn, we need to talk," he said, his voice heavy with emotion. Imran sensed the tension immediately, stepping back to give them space. Zayn's heart raced as he faced his father, fear creeping in again. "Dad, what's wrong?" Zayn asked, trying to keep his voice steady. His father took a deep breath, the weight of his words hanging in the air. "I lost my job today. We're going to struggle to make ends meet." The words hit Zayn like a punch to the gut. "I knew it! You never listen!" Zayn blurted out, a mix of frustration and sadness pouring out. Imran felt the room tense as Zayn's father tried to respond. "Please, let me explain." "No," Zayn interrupted, his voice rising. "You always said I had to toughen up, but you never showed me how." In that moment, Zayn made a critical decision. Instead of running away from his emotions, he chose to confront them head-on. "We need to work together as a family," he said, tears streaming down his face. "I won't run anymore. Let's figure this out together." That declaration shifted everything. Imran watched as Zayn's father's hardened expression softened, realizing the depth of his son's courage. The family's dynamics began to change, opening the door for healing and unity in a way Imran had hoped for but never fully believed would happen. In the aftermath of Zayn's emotional declaration, the air in the room shifted. Imran watched as Zayn's father, previously weighed down by despair, began to see a glimmer of hope in his son's determination. They sat together at the dinner table, a silent agreement forming between them, a united front against their struggles. Over the next few weeks, the family banded together. They started a budget to manage their finances better, each member contributing ideas on how to cut costs and find small sources of income. Zayn took the initiative to find part-time work after school, helping at a local grocery store. Imran joined him, eager to support his friend and spend more time together. As they worked side by side, Imran saw a transformation in Zayn. The boy who once felt lost and angry now radiated resilience and purpose. Their friendship deepened as they shared their hopes and fears, laughing at the little things that reminded them of their carefree days. Zayn's father, too, began to change. He became more engaged with his family, recognizing the strength and vulnerability. He shared stories from his past, teaching Zayn and Imran about perseverance and hard work. The bond between them grew stronger as they navigated their challenges together, learning the value of support and understanding. The struggles were far from over, but there was a newfound sense of togetherness. Zayn no longer felt like he was facing the world alone. He had his father, Imran, and the strength of their united family behind him. As Zayn looked out the window at the setting sun, a wave of gratitude washed over him. What started as a moment of despair had transformed into an unexpected journey of strength, resilience, and unity. His family was no longer just a collection of individuals facing struggles, but a cohesive unit bonded by love and understanding. Zayn realized that the challenges they faced had not only tested their resolve, but had also forged an unbreakable connection between them. He had grown from a boy overwhelmed by frustration to a young man filled with purpose, determined to navigate life's hurdles with courage and support from those he loved. Reflecting on their journey, Zayn understood that kindness, understanding, and the willingness to confront difficult truths could lead to miraculous changes in life. He turned to Imran, who had stood by his side through thick and thin, and smiled. Together, they had learned that even in the darkest times, the light of hope shines brightest when shared with others. As the day faded into twilight, Zayn felt a profound sense of peace. He knew that, no matter what the future held, he was not alone. He had the love of his family and the unwavering support of his friends. Life was an unpredictable journey, but with each challenge, they had discovered the incredible power of connection.